Yo, what's up guys, Boss here, and I'm back with another YouTube video, and this time we're going to be playing some top ladder with this giant graveyard deck. I recently, earlier today, won a 12-win GC with it, 12-1, only one loss, and it was to some loon deck, I think, but it's really solid in the meta, guys, and even though there's P.E.K.K.A, P.E.K.K.A doesn't even really counter it, because when they poison your witch, you can go in with graveyard and like apply pressure and punish them. And also, I just really like the Musketeer in the deck. The Witch just pairs so well with the Graveyard and the Giant in like a Giant Graveyard deck. And then the Dark Prince for Splash, and I just think it's really nice to have in the deck on like defense. And then you have Snowball and Poison as your spells, because obviously with a Graveyard deck, it's good to have either like a Poison or arrows in the deck, something like that. But yeah, guys, let's go ahead and go into our first game, and it's a good thing I remember to turn sound off. Guys, sorry again about last video about having the sound on too loud. But I wanted to ask you guys, do you prefer having this music, like the music I have on now, or would you prefer the in-game music and sound effects, but like lower volume, of course? Which would you guys rather have? I'll see what you guys say in the comments, and then I'll also maybe do like a poll on the YouTube tab and ask you guys there as well, because I am a little curious, because some of you say you would rather have the in-game music, so yeah, I'm kind of interested to see what you guys say. Oh, and one last thing before we go into the first game, the deck is 4.0, so just remember like that your main pushes are going to be in double elixir, because Giant Graveyard is the win condition basically, Giant and Graveyard together, so sometimes you can't do that until double elixir, so don't worry if in like single you're not getting much damage, because you can often come back quite nicely in a double, kind of like a Golem deck. You could think of it like that, because a Golem deck is usually like 4.0 or more. Alright, so we found our first game here. So ideally, guys, with this deck, you actually want to let your opponent make the first play. It depends on your starting hand, of course. Like, if you have Snowball in your starting hand, you could just cycle that out of your hand, but like in this situation here, I'm not really sure I want to make the first play, because I don't know if I want a Dark Prince in the back. I don't really know if I want a Witch in the back either. So it's probably best just to wait for him, and he's not really doing anything either. So we could maybe Dark Prince, but to be honest, I would rather wait for him. But if he doesn't do anything in maybe like 20 more seconds, I'll just go ahead and play my Dark Prince, because our cycle isn't really that good anyways. Like, we don't even have our Giant in rotation. So yeah, let's just go with a, oh good, he decided to make a move, so let's go with the Dark Prince on top of his Barbarian Barrel. So Barbarian Barrel doesn't really tell us a lot about his deck, because a lot of decks have the Barbarian Barrel, and it looks like he has the Knight. So let's go ahead and play our Witch. And see what, he does. So he has an Ice Wizard. I'm gonna go in with a Giant in front of this, and then have my Poison ready in case he plays something else. Yeah, let's go with the Poison on that. Pretty nice Poison. Ooh, but he did play a Tombstone. I didn't really know that he had a Tombstone, so unfortunately when I poisoned, I didn't hit the Tombstone. That would have been really, really good value if we were able to hit the Tombstone too, and I think we could have actually reached it, but I just didn't really know that he had it. So I think he's using a Graveyard deck too. We need to be really careful, because we just used our Poison, so if he were to go in for a Graveyard, we may not have the best answers for it. But Witch does really good against the Graveyard, and also Skeleton Army, but that's if they don't poison. But if they do poison, then that's why it's best to like have your own Poison in rotation for their Graveyard. I'm gonna go with a Witch here. I just really want to make sure that Baby Dragon dies, so then he can't go in with like a Graveyard off of it. I'm gonna go in with a Giant here, because I don't want the Barbarian to kill the Witch. But it actually like kept targeting the Witch, so a little bit of a mistake on my end, I think. I'm gonna go in with a Graveyard here. Ooh, wow, nice NATO on his end, because what that allowed the tower to do is lock on my Graveyard. Okay, let's Dark Prince here, and then going with another Witch. We could Poison here if he gives us like really good value. Alright, I'm gonna go in with a Giant, and then I'm gonna Poison, assuming he's gonna play a Tombstone. No, he actually decided to go in with a NATO Bar Barrel. Pretty nicely played on his end, actually, because he was able to take out the Witch and, I think, the Musketeer. But I was able to play another Musketeer, and then he goes in with a Defensive Poison. So this game is looking sort of like a stalemate right now. We do have the damage lead, but he keeps going in with the defensive poisons, minimizing most of the damage. But I think we should just keep applying pressure. We can't really use our skeleton army in this matchup. I'm going to go in with a giant here, and this time we do block for the witch, which is really good. Okay, let's poison the tombstone and the ice wizard, getting pretty good value in my opinion. Ooh, we could have our Dark Prince charge, but nah, the knight and then the skeletons from the tombstone were distracting it. Okay, let's go with another witch here. And then a Dark Prince, and then I'm gonna go in with a giant and a graveyard. Let's graveyard here, and he's probably going to defensive poison it, but look at the witch, guys. The splash damage is hitting the ice wizard, and he isn't poisoning the graveyard, so it's going to get a little bit of damage before it dies, and then he finally poisoned it. Skeletons are still getting a little bit of chip on his tower, and then the Dark Prince is still there. We might run out of time, but we have a really nice lead right now. I'm not, again, too sure why he hasn't gone in with his own graveyard yet. That's a little surprising to me, considering, like, I feel like he should be applying pressure like I am, but he isn't for some reason. He's just kind of letting us deal damage to him. And there we go, guys. We finally break through. Our Dark Prince actually ended up connecting to his tower. I'm gonna, like, check the battle log and make sure that he had the graveyard, because I'm 90% sure he did. So I'm not too sure why he didn't go in with a grave. Yeah, he did. So very interesting in my opinion that he didn't apply any pressure at all. I don't think he played a single graveyard all game. He was just playing so passively. It was as if he was trying to just tie the game from the start. I'm not too sure why though, because I don't really think we had a counter or anything, since we did have the skeleton army, which doesn't really get any value in the whole matchup. You saw I didn't use it at all. And then also, I don't know, I just think, like, we both have poison for each other's graveyard, and yeah, I'm not too sure why he didn't go in with a graveyard. That was interesting to me. But yeah, so we're at 1400 right now. Let's go ahead and play a few more games. Maybe we'll try to get 6,400. Maybe that'll be my goal this video. We'll see. Ooh, that guy has an interesting symbol in his name. That's a bear? Huh. Doesn't really look like a bear. Alright, let's go with the Dark Prince here. He has Miner and Ice Spirit, so it could be, that could be like, it could be like a balloon deck. And there's the Valkyrie, so yeah, it probably is going to be Balloon Cycle. This might be a little difficult because the Executioner does get a lot of value against our deck, because Executioner does good against the Witch, Skeleton Army, and then, yeah, some other stuff. I'm going to go in for a Graveyard here. I'm doing this to distract the Executioner, and then the Witch is going to be able to get some damage on it. Also, guys, we kind of had to, just because, oh wow, that actually worked out for us. He ended up going in for a NATO. I'm not too sure why he did that NATO, but that I feel like that wasn't really a overcommitment, because he went in with a NATO. So I kind of went in with a defensive poison there, because I felt like we didn't really have any good response to the balloon since our Witch wasn't in rotation, and also since he went in with a Miner on top of the Musketeer. So nicely played on his end, applying pressure. So as I said, double elixir is like when we come back and when the deck shines. This is a matchup, since he can outcycle us really easily, it's tough for us to break through in single. But I'm going to try to go opposite lane here, and maybe since he doesn't have like a log or something for the graveyard, maybe we can end up getting some damage here. I'm going to go in with a graveyard here, trying to apply some pressure. He went in with his Valkyrie there, so he might not have anything for the graveyard. Oh wow, he goes in with a NATO. So NATO does end up finishing off, I guess, most of the graveyard, but we do end up getting like a little bit of chip in. I'm going with a Dark Prince on top of his Valkyrie here, and make sure we have our Musketeer for his balloon. I'm going to go in with a Skarmy here. I was kind of predicting where his Miner was, and we ended up getting it. Snowball should be able to stop the balloon from getting a single hit on his tower. Even if he were to zap or something, it wouldn't have gotten a hit. Let's Valkyrie or Witch here for his Valkyrie. And then I'm going to go ahead and, if he's, yeah, applying pressure, I'm going to go in with a giant graveyard, and I don't know if he can stop this after going in for 8 elixir. He might be able to, though. We'll have to see. I'm going to poison here. So it's hitting the tower, Executioner, and whittling his tower down. We are able to take out the tower, guys. Like I said, after he went in for that balloon push, I didn't think he had the elixir to stop the graveyard, and he didn't. But we really need to watch out, because now if he gets a single hit on our king tower, he'll probably end up 3-crowning us. So I'm going to go in with a musketeer here, and wow, the balloon ended up getting a hit. So yeah, that's going to be a good game, because the balloon does like 350 for death damage, something like that, so it was enough to take it out. So yeah, guys, like I said, pretty bad matchup in my opinion, because of the executioner, and also since we only have, I mean, even though we have 2 air counters and snowball, he can pretty much outcycle it easily, because if we look at his deck cost, it's like, yeah, 3.0, ours is 4.0, so obviously he can outcycle us very easily. But maybe I could have stopped that balloon from getting a hit, if I played my musketeer earlier or something. I don't know what I could have done differently, but I probably could have stopped that balloon from getting a hit. But anyways, guys, it's fine. Not, like I said, I don't think that that's too easy of a game. But yeah, we probably could have played a little better. Alright, so we found our next game against Winter Board here. So since we have Giant and Graveyard in our starting hand, we could just wait until he makes a move. There's really no rush for us to go in for a starting play. So he has the Princess, so that could be like Log Bait, it could be Hog Princess, it could really be anything until we know. And I was right about it being able to be anything, because he goes in with a Wizard right after he goes in with the Princess. So Wizard could mean anything. So Dark Prince is going to be able to clean up that Skarmy, and I'm going to hold off. I don't know if I need to do anything, because yeah, it's able to finish that off. I'm going to Witch here, and he decides to go in with a Golem in the middle, so that's like extremely aggressive in my opinion. So let's go in with a Skarmy here on top of the Golem, and he has the balloon. Wow, so this is a crazy deck, guys. I'm going to go in with a Giant in front of this Witch, and then I'm going to go in with a Graveyard to try to like apply pressure, because obviously, guys, we're in a really bad spot right now. Let's Snowball to kill that Skeleton Army. Okay, guys, I think we're going to be able to take his tower. That's a relief, because, guys, that was a pretty bad start for us, because we couldn't really stop his balloon. But yeah, as I said, really crazy deck, Golem Balloon. That's definitely not something you see every day, or pretty much ever, to be honest. So let's say he decides to go in with a Golem in the back. I'll probably go in with a Dark Prince and then a Giant and try to 3-crown him, but we'll have to see where he plays his Golem. Okay, yeah, he does go with a Golem, so I'm going to go in with a Giant, Dark Prince, and then get ready for a Graveyard just to try to 3-crown him, because I don't know if he'll have the elixir to stop this after going with an 8 elixir Golem in the back, especially with our Graveyard. Snowball to slow everything down, try to get the Giant more hits on the tower, and I could poison here, and guys, if we cycle back to one more Snowball, we do win the game. So let's Dark Prince, Skarmy, and I don't think there's any way, guys, he can 3-crown us, because that balloon still hasn't even taken out the right tower yet, and then our king's at full health, and that is going to be a good game, guys. That's a crazy deck, but that shows you right there, guys, in Double Elixir how strong this deck is, and we were able to apply so much pressure when he went with a Golem that he wasn't able to defend. So, kind of a nice comeback, I guess. I mean, I don't know if it was really a comeback, because in the beginning of the game when he went with a Golem and a Balloon, he had no Elixir, so it was pretty obvious we were going to take his tower. But yeah, still a nice win. Let's go ahead and go into the next one. And then we'll probably play like a couple more after this. We'll see how long each of the games are, though. I've been doing a lot of ladder videos recently, so if you guys want me to do a GC video and switch it up, let me know. Alright, we're playing against Andros. So, we could cycle our Snowball if he doesn't do anything, but I'm going to first wait 10 seconds, and then if he doesn't do anything after that, we'll just cycle our Snowball right here. Perfect opportunity to just cycle our Snowball. So he has Skeletons and the Ice Spirit, so yeah, I was going to say it's either 2.6 or 2.9, but because he has the Archers, that means it's 2.9. So what's good is you have the Giant, which is a good tank for the Expo, but since you don't really have, the Snowball isn't really good in the matchup, but the Poison can get some value. I'm just gonna kind of wait for him. 2.9 is a really fast cycle deck, and there's really no need for me to cycle anything until he does something, so I'm actually straight up gonna wait for him until he plays archers, and then after the archers I'm gonna musketeer, because archers are something you shouldn't leak elixir on, just because they can like stack it up, if that makes sense, and get value. I'm gonna go in with a witch here, and he decides to go in with a Tesla, so that was pretty unfortunate for us, considering that we had like our witch there. So that Expo is gonna get like a little bit of a lock on our tower. It's probably gonna do actually like a lot of damage. It's gonna take about half of our tower down. But as I said, guys, I'm not too worried because this deck just makes insane comebacks in double elixir. I've had so many times where I'm versing 2.9 or something, and they take like half my tower, and then I'm able to make a comeback and end up taking their tower. I'm going to go with the skeleton army here to make sure we distract that Expo, and then going with a giant, so then we're able to take care of his Expo, and I don't think he has the elixir to break through. There's like no way, because we had the giant and Dark Prince up. Let's see. So I'll go with a musketeer here, and higher up so then he can't fireball it in the tower. Goes in with a log. I'm gonna go in with a witch other lane. He goes in with a defensive Expo. Honestly, he's playing this pretty well. I'm gonna go in with a skeleton army, and then I'm gonna go in with a giant because he just used his log. Oh wow, we already got back to another one. I mean, it's not that surprising since he's using 2.9. I'm gonna predict an Expo here. Let's go with a musketeer. Unfortunately, he didn't play an Expo, so wow, guys. Yeah, we're in a really bad spot. I think we might end up losing. I'm gonna giant here, and then we can just go ahead and poison once the Tesla pops up. We can actually poison slightly before. Oh wow, guys, that's going to be a really nice poison because he played his archers there. I'm going to snowball because I really want that giant to get a hit. Unfortunately, he doesn't, so he's going to deal even more damage. I'm going to go in with another prediction musketeer, and wow, guys, he went in with another defensive Expo. So yeah, guys, we're just not... we haven't really been playing this too well, and also because of the damage lead he got in the start, it's just not been looking good at all for us. If he logs, though, I'm going to go in with a graveyard. We haven't gone in with one all game, but I think now's the perfect opportunity to do it because he just used his log. And we just really want to keep applying pressure other lane to have a shot at tying this, because if we do end up tying this game, I don't really think it's the end of the world. I'm going to go in with a snowball here on top of the archers, and he's going to go in with an Expo, so let's poison. And from now on, I'm not going to cycle any 4 elixir or 5 elixir card in that lane, because if he fireballs it, then he'll easily be in spell cycle range on the right, and I don't want that to happen at all. Okay, I'm going to go with a graveyard here. He goes with a log, doesn't hit the Dark Prince. I'm going to go with a poison if he plays archers. Okay, we do hit the skeletons, but unfortunately the archers he played further back, well played on his end. Oh, but look at the graveyard, guys. We're getting so much damage, and the Dark Prince could make a connection, but it doesn't, unfortunately. But yeah, guys, I think we could end up tying this game, or possibly... I don't know if we're going to win it, but we might end up being able to tie it. Okay, I'm going to Skarmy here to distract. And there's no way that Expo is going to get any damage because we have all that down. I'm going to go with the Dark Prince here. And then let's go with a Giant on the Expo, and then going with a Musketeer. So he only needs... he only needs 3 fireballs on our tower, so to be honest, I think he might be able to spell cycle us out. We'll have to see, though. It depends on, if we, like, apply pressure and prevent him from doing that. I'm going to go with the Musketeer here to snipe the Expo. And we forced a log out of him, guys. I think we do... Oh my gosh, guys, which actually locked on the tower? Yeah, there's no way we can get back, though. So let's just say good game, guys. We do end up tying the game. We were in a pretty bad spot. We could have been a little bit more aggressive if we weren't down so much damage. I think I'll leave this in anyways because Expo versus this Giant Graveyard deck is actually a quite even matchup in my opinion because you, like, stuff like the Skeleton Army and Snowball don't get that much value in this matchup. Their purpose is for cycling and the Skeleton Army can, like, tank the Expo. But overall, I feel like because the deck is pretty expensive, it is hard sometimes to keep up with 2.9 cycles, so I think that was a solid tie, and if you didn't get so much damage that, if you didn't get the amount of damage he did in the beginning, we probably could have ended up winning, so that was a little bit unfortunate that we were forced to play it a little more passively, because if he didn't have all that damage, I could have played more poisons on his left tower, and I would have been fine taking a little bit of chip in the right lane, but that wasn't really the case since we were down so much. Alright, so we found another game here against UA Hyper. So we don't have our Giant in cycle. We could go with a Snowball to cycle and then just wait for him. So yeah, I'm going to go in with a Snowball. He's throwing a lot of emotes. I might actually mute him just to focus because it is a little distracting, guys, because he's like spamming like dozens of emotes or something. So now, guys, that we have our Giant and the Graveyard in rotation, there's really no reason for us to do anything. We can just chill for a bit, wait for him, or wait till double elixir if he doesn't do anything until then. I'm actually going to go in with a Skeleton Army because that'll make our cycle a little better. And there we go, guys. He has his log out of rotation. So now, oh wow, he went in with the Tombstone. I'm only doing this because he misclicked it, so we can send in a Giant and then go in with the Graveyard. And I'm only doing this because, one, he misclicked the Tombstone, and also he had his log out of rotation, so I knew it was safe to do, and that we were at least going to get some damage. So he also messed up the NATO as well. He kind of, like, he didn't pull it to the Tombstone. So yeah, that cost him a lot. Pretty unfortunate for him. Just a couple mistakes in a row on his end. Obviously, the log wasn't his fault. There wasn't really any way for him to know that I was using Giant or Graveyard or whatever. But that Tombstone was pretty bad, and the NATO was pretty bad as well. So I think he's just going to ignore that and then try to, like, tower trade. So I don't know if I can defend this, to be honest. But hopefully we get a lot of damage on his King Tower, and then maybe we could just end up 3-crowning him. Alright, let's go with a Poison here, and he decides to go in with a log. Yeah, we actually can stop this with our Musketeer. He's going to deal a lot of damage, but we will be able to keep our tower alive, which is good. And if he decides to go in with a Golem in the back, I'm going to go in with a Giant Graveyard on his King Tower. But it looks like he isn't. He's cycling Night Witches. So I'm going to try to defend, because I think we could with our Dark Prince in cycle now. And, yeah, he just used his log, so let's go ahead and play our Skeleton Army. He's going to NATO now, probably. Yeah, there's the NATO. Doesn't matter, though, because we are able to kill the Golem before it pops on our tower. Ooh, he does go in with a Lightning, though. Those Golemites are not going to do enough, though. But, dude, does it put it in log range? Ooh, it does, guys. It is in log range. Ooh, so that's pretty unfortunate that he ended up taking our tower. I'm going to go in with a Graveyard and then a Giant here just to apply pressure since he has his log out of rotation, which is his best counter to the Graveyard. And look at all that damage we're getting on the King Tower, guys. Whoa, we might even take it, like, straight up. No, we don't, unfortunately, but we do end up killing the Night Witch. And now, guys, he's in a really, really bad situation because basically, he needs to take her tower right here, or he's probably going to end up losing, because we can just send in another Giant Graveyard and then we'll be able to finish off the game, because even though he has the log in rotation, there's no way that the Graveyard isn't going to at least get him into poison range. So he's setting up another push. Let's go in with a Giant and a Graveyard here, and that's 100% good game, guys, because there's no way that he's going to be able to defend that after going in with a Golem in the middle. And that was a pretty easy win once again. I also think yeah, he made a couple of mistakes, which for sure helped us win the Tombstone at the beginning of the game, and then the NATO, because if we hadn't taken his tower that easily in the beginning of the game, maybe we wouldn't have ended up winning that game as easily. But then once, a tip I should say, guys, is when you take one of their towers, go for the 3 crown. It's better than going for the 2 crown, because Giant in the middle and then Graveyard on the King is so OP, to be honest. I think we have time for one more game. It's been 25 minutes, so let's go for one more. Win or loss, doesn't matter. Because we did have a draw, so, you know, let's go for one more. Alright, so playing against Anapuron. Okay. I'm gonna snowball his Goblin Gang. So Goblin Gang could mean log bait, it could mean mortar. There's a couple different things it could be. So yeah, it looks like it's log bait. I'm gonna go with a Musketeer here, and that's gonna clean up majority of the Goblin Barrel damage. Thinking about what I want to do. Okay, so he goes in with a Prince. I'm gonna go in with a High Witch because I don't really want him to rocket my tower. Ooh, I'm gonna poison. This might seem like kind of a weird poison, but the Dark Goblin is something I really don't want to deal with. It's just like pretty annoying, and I just kind of wanted it to die. Like, even though now that he has the Princess, I think it's fine because we have our Dark Prince and other options for it. But yeah, log bait's a little tricky, guys, and you basically need to stay alive in single elixir because in double you have a way easier time breaking through, but in single it's a little difficult. I'm gonna go in with a Skeleton Army here because he just used his log, so that he doesn't really have a way of killing it. Yeah, that's all gonna be stopped. He's not really gonna get any damage on our tower, so that was a pretty good Skarmy. It got a lot of value. I don't want to giant. Like I said, when you're just versing log bait and fast cycle decks like this, you really can't apply much pressure until double because it's a little too risky. Ooh, I didn't time that Witch correctly, but I think it's okay. Like, the Dark Goblin's still gonna die, so it's not really too bad. I'm gonna poison his Princess when he plays it, but I don't think he's going to. So now, guys, this would be an example of when you can go in for a Giant in a graveyard because he just used his log, and now it's double elixir time. But we do want to make sure we poison that Goblin Gang. Ooh, he goes in for Prediction Log. So we are going to be able to defend this because of the Skarmy, and also since that Prediction Log didn't end up hitting our Skeleton Army. I actually didn't play my Skarmy there because I thought he was going to Prediction Log. I just decided to play in that situation. We need to be really careful, though, because he has a Princess at the bridge, and then he went in for another Princess, so I'm going to poison this. Honestly, I didn't really know what else we could do with our cycle. But we're not really down that much here, considering we have a good amount of damage on his right tower, and then he has about the same on both our towers, but he's going to get a good amount of damage here. Oof. Yeah, guys, this is a little rough for us. Let's go with the poison on top of his Princess. Luckily, it stayed in range of it because of their Dark Prince. I'm going to go in with the Witch here. And he goes with Rascals. Yeah, guys, this is a really, really tough one for us. Mostly because, like, yeah, good game, though. Like, he still played really well, but yeah, pretty tough because, we don't have the best answers for log bait. So yeah, to be honest, this deck is really good overall, but I think there are a couple matchups that I would say it struggles against just a little bit. So both, I'll show you, I think like this one here, Loon cycle decks are pretty difficult because you don't, as I said, have the best air counters, and they can easily outcycle them because the Witch and Musketeer are fairly expensive. And then log bait too, you just don't really have the best answer to the Goblin Barrel, and then also, yeah, they just kind of outcycle you. Maybe I should have gone opposite lane this matchup, but I'm not really too sure. But yeah, like I said, he still played really well, and yeah, but I still think that's a good game to wrap up the video, even though we do end up ending on a loss. Or I could... why not? I'll play one more. It's only 30. I mean, I don't know why, I know a lot of people in the comments now will be saying, he said one more game and then he plays one more. I'm known to doing that, I guess, because I'm doing it right now. But yeah, I just feel like playing one more since, I mean, it's only been 30 minutes. It's not like there's a time limit, too. So we decided to go in with a Sparky. So I'm going to go in with a giant other lane trying to apply pressure, but I don't think it's going to work out very well for us at all. Hopefully our giant's able to get a lot of damage because we're probably going to end up losing our tower here on the left side. I'm going to go in with a defensive poison on this. I think that's the best thing we can do in this situation. Hopefully the Sparky dies inside the poison, otherwise we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Okay, it does. Guys, we're a little lucky. If that Sparky stayed alive, it would have gotten a hit on our King Tower, and then we would have actually been in a pretty horrible situation. But right now, we're in not that bad of a spot, because we ended up stopping the Sparky from connecting to our tower. I'm going to go in with a Musketeer here. So, interesting deck on his end. He has Sparky with the Miner. Basically, the Miner is what makes it interesting. Besides that, it's pretty much normal. It's a Goblin Giant Sparky deck. But Miner is pretty interesting for sure. I don't typically see Miner in Sparky decks. He's probably just using it as an extra win condition in case he can't get the Goblin Giant to the tower. So I definitely want to keep my Witch alive from the Sparky, so I'm going to go in with a Surround on top of the Sparky. And he decides to go in with an Ewiz. Not the best Ewiz in my opinion, because the Sparky ended up dying anyways. I'm going to go in with a Graveyard and then a Giant, and then we can just snowball his bats that he plays on the Graveyard. There they are, so let's go with a Snowball on top of them. And look at all the damage we're going to get, because I don't think he has a good spell for dealing with the Graveyard. He does have the Zap, but look at that, guys. We're able to take out about half of his King Tower, I would say. So we're in the lead now, and I think we could just go in for a couple more pushes like that, and we'll be able to take out his King Tower. Very, very strange that he decided to go in with a Goblin Giant Ewiz in the middle, because we had our Skarmory in rotation, and he didn't have a Zappin' Cycle. So I think he might end up losing right here, just because we can apply a lot of pressure since he's down so much Elixir. So I'm going to go in with another Giant Graveyard, and then I'm going to go in with a Poison this time. Hopefully he plays the bats in the Poison. Well, a couple of them are in the Poison, not all of them, unfortunately, but I really wanted a Poison there to make sure that the Sparky was hit by the Poison and also the Mega Minion. But as long as we keep the pressure up like this, I don't think he's going to be able to break through to our tower. So yeah, this Graveyard deck is just so good when you have one of their towers. Because Graveyard on the King Tower is just so OP, honestly. I'm going to go in with, again, with another Giant Graveyard combo. Snowball on top of his Goblin Gang. Hopefully we can get some damage on his King Tower. Unfortunately, though, he's going to be able to stop. I think he stopped basically everything. That was nicely played on his end. I'm not too sure how he ended up stopping all of that. I feel like maybe it was because the Goblin Gang just does a really nice job of stopping the Graveyard. I'm going to go in with a Poison here, and then a Skarmory on top of the Sparky. We need to make sure that those die. But he went in with a second one. Witch here. Just make sure to just keep our defense up, and then we should be fine. And then when we have the like opportunity to go in with a Giant Graveyard, we can. Like right here, I'm gonna poison the Sparky because we're getting some King Tower damage, and then also whittling down the Sparky a little bit. But it was mostly for the King Tower damage. That's the main reason why I did it. Snowball here, and then we need to watch out for that Sparky. I was really worried that it was going to splash on my tower, so I kind of wasted a Witch there, which was unfortunate. I'm going to defensive Graveyard this time. We need to really just make sure our defense is good, because we're not in the best situation, even though we have the damage lead on his King. The fact that we had to waste a Witch like that was really bad for us. And I'm going to go in with a Giant Graveyard because we have the Dark Prince supporting. Oh, and guys, look at that. He went in with his Goblin Gang on the Giant, so I think that was a little mistake on his end, and we are going to be able to get some damage with the Graveyard. So as long as we cycle back to a Snowball, we do win the game. I wasn't sure if it was going to be in Snowball range, because I couldn't really tell how much damage the Skeletons were going to get. But that's going to be a good game, guys. That's a great last game to end the video, I would say. It got a little intense there, and I thought maybe I was going to end up choking the game because of how aggressive we were. But we were able to, yeah, end up winning in the end. And yeah, I think that was a pretty good video, guys. We ended at 1,200, so not insanely high up, but still, I think it was a nice push with this deck. I think it's really good in the meta. And even if your Graveyard's only level 12, it still works. If it's level 13, that's of course a lot better because it does more damage to the tower. And then Skeletons and Skeleton Army, it doesn't take 2 ticks to kill them, etc. But still, guys, level 12 works. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, make sure to like the video. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And let me know in the comments, guys, as I said, if you would rather have this music. I use a different playlist every time, though. I have like 5 different playlists I shuffle between each video to make sure the music is a little different. But let me know if you guys would rather prefer in-game music and sounds. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks again until next time.